Welcome, dear students, to another class of English. The last part of our fire buckets. We saw that Henlin arrived the next day early morning and met by the PO and his wife, and his biscuits and tea in the dark bungalow, and dutifully set up see the hospital. So this Henlin is meeting these two people and then examining how the hospital is. We saw that it was very nicely adjusted. So he looks, the hospital staff had not reported to him aware of what would have frowned if they had quit their jobs to go to garlanding him. Fond if they had quit their jobs. Fond means they would have not liked. Frown means you make a face that you don't dislike, like that is called frowning. And frowned if they quit their jobs to go garlanding him. तो garlanding a मेहमान को ऐसे garland यानी हार पहनाना उसकी बात है. तो हॉस्पिटल स्टाफ वॉज बिजी विद द वर्क ऑफ लुकिंग आफ्टर पेशेंट्स, और वो हॉस्पिटल स्टाफ पेशेंट्स को देखने में जुटे हुए थे. द शीट्स हैड बीन चेंज्ड, द पेशेंट्स वर बीइंग sponged means they were cleaned with that soft pads so that their injuries don't get bruised or get hurt to them. Temperatures were being recorded and the compounder was making neat packets of medicines prescribed. So neat packets of medicines were also made. Now turning to the page, we will see that there is the last page of this lesson, where we will see that the fire buckets create a big mass over here. The Pankha puller had kept faithful watch on the hillock, and the moment the little procession was visible, ran to the alert the डॉक्टर को अलर्ट करने के लिए. She said that stethoscope and stepped out, head of her little teams of nurses, the compounder and the accountant. Handling stepped up 2 steps of the veranda and looked at the fire buckets. तो वो handling fire buckets को देखते हैं. His eyes widened imperceptibly. Imperceptibly is given down in a measure that couldn't be seen. Perception means to see from your angle. So here in a measure that couldn't be seen, that is called imperceptibly. Okay. They were bright yellow. Always you see these fire buckets means fire related whatever is there, should be in a red color. And the red faded color was there, so it was decided that the yellow color was done because of this, unaware of this. Pankha puller was given the last minute thing to complete this, and therefore this problem occurred. They still smelt faintly fresh paint. So it was lastly paint, so the paint doesn't dry up all in the damp atmosphere of that region, as earlier said. So he smiled at the rest of the team. Those suddenly came down like they were in emergency. They surrounded him, trying to shield the buckets from his vision. ये पीला कलर की buckets देख न ले, इसलिए वो लोग ना अपना को शील्ड बना दिया उसकी नज़र के सामने. Henlin was trying to say something and would have to, had he been given a chance, but he was not given a chance. He was not. Everybody began to talking at him this way, sir, that how was your right, sir, please come in, sir, first TB what, sir, or tea, sir. And that way they didn't allow him to speak, because they thought that he will see the buckets, he will talk about it. He saw everything inside the hospital, from thermometer to the bedpan, the store where its shelves of liquids and little bottles and the stacks of paper, the wards with the snow white sheets, patients were made to sit up and talk to him. He was imperative that he spent as much time as possible inside. So he was coming for inspection, and he is called a guest, and therefore he has to see what the patients are looked after, about how, for Barua, interpreting the severe look of the doctor, sprinted to the Seth's shop and almost grabbing a tin of red paint, sprinted back. So the doctor is giving that hint to him that you go and paint again the yellow fire buckets into red. So he goes to the Seth shop, which is only one shop, and tries to get back the red paint. The two Pankhawala pullers and the Barwa each took charge of one bucket and slapped red paint on it. On its coat of yellow, the red paint appeared a little blotchy orange at places. So, yellow and red, if you mix, what happens? The color becomes orange, right? But it was the least no longer yellow. Then dutifully deposited the paint can in the backyard. They went in smiling. That was the sight that all was he should be. So here the correction of the fire bucket's color is done, in the sense that it was not of red color earlier because of the Panka puller's problem, and he didn't have the idea that the red color should be for the fire related matters, and he did it yellow, and now because of doctor's insistence, now it is converted back to red as per his instructions. So yeah, Hanlin had his mandatory round tea and assorted biscuits, and doctors heard the report on a prevalence of goiter the area and fidgeted to leave. He could much rather go for a walk. Must not keep the leeches waiting, he joked. They laughed. So here the doctor has to see different patients and all that happens over there, but that is not important from your point of view. You have to study that only the Hanlin was prevented from seeing the fire buckets which were colored yellow, and now how it is turned red again. As he stepped out, he turned round the veranda and took pointedly at the fire buckets. Here was no way to cloak the sharp smell of fresh paint. फ्रेश अभी इसको कलर किया, वो फ्रेश पेंट को हम वो रोक नहीं सकते थे ना उसकी नाक में से जाते हुए, तो ही कुड स्मेल इट. दे ऑल स्टूड देयर लुकिंग लिटिल sheepish मीन्स डरे हुए ना, sheepish मैंने shy or wanted to keep him away from telling about the buckets, but sure that they had remedied their foolish mistake. उनको लगा कि हमारी जो मिस्टेक पहले उन्होंने देख लिया था येलो कलर था, वो हमें वापस रेड कर दिया, वो हमारी मिस्टेक, हमने फायर पैकेट्स को जो कलर गलत किया था वो सही कर दिया है, वो मानने लगे. He turned to the doctor and said, I was trying to tell you all that yellow is the clan color of the local tribe. लेकिन यहाँ पे डॉक्टर ने उल्टा बोला, वो बोले कि येलो कलर ही सही था, ये जो कलर है वो लोकल ट्राइब का कलर है, उनको जच्चे ऐसा कलर है. तो दे थिंक दैट इज ऑस्पिशियस. जो येलो कलर उनके लिए ऑस्पिशियस है, सेक्रेड है, रिलीजियस है, मीन्स वो धार्मिक तरीके से उसको देखते हैं येलो कलर को. व्हेन आई सॉ दिस बकेट्स आई वेंट एट once that a member of a local tribe had painted it. I found that very interesting. You know that? I thought you were adapting, trying to make this place a little more welcome to the tribes. तो मैं एक बार ट्राइबल हाउस में गया था, उसमें मैंने येलो कलर यूज़ किए हुए देखा था, तो मैं सोचा कि आप भी येलो कलर में आया, तब देखा था तो वो येलो कलर था. बाद में हमने रेड किया, लेकिन येलो था वो सही था, बिकॉज वो मैं सोचा कि येलो आपने इसलिए किया कि वो ट्राइब्स को आप अट्रैक्ट या वेलकम करना चाहते हैं, इसलिए वो जो कलर अपने हाउसेस में यूज़ करते हैं वो अभी हॉस्पिटल में यूज़ करके ना रेड कलर की जगह येलो कलर का जो बकेट्स पेंट किया था वो मुझे अच्छा लगा था. इट वॉज सो रिफ्रेशिंग टू सी यू अडैप्ट, बट इट वॉज अ मिस्टेक, वॉज इट नॉट? आपने अच्छा हुआ कि जो रेड कलर अडेप्ट करना है, अडेप्ट मीन्स रेड कलर ही होना चाहिए, आपने सही किया है, बट इट वॉज अ मिस्टेक, वॉज इट नॉट? आपकी मिस्टेक नहीं थी, अगर येलो रहता तो अच्छा नहीं था कि ट्राइबल के लिए, ऐसा करके ही सेज दैट द पुडिंग डिड नॉट टेस्ट सो good that evening. Everybody wished they had not done the trouble of painting the buckets red. जो भी येलो था वो रहने देते, तो you know that paint would have pleased this supervisor in the pound handling, and would have been better. But now what? The pudding also was not tasting good, because sometimes it happens that you're not happy with the developments around you. Then your mood doesn't fit into the eating and what you want to do, and therefore you feel don't like to eat even if it's good food. That happened with the staff there. So with this we complete the lesson, and I'll give you the notes of this quick answers and that which are on the next page, and thereafter we can go through the reference to context, read, reflect and write. That I'll make you write with the notes which I'll give you. Okay, see you in the next session. Till then, goodbye.